kind of compare the different sounds and the ambiance to Dark Side of the Moon, and both of those albums seen as each respective band's one of their big hits. But whatever you think, that's a great song no matter what. And we have some Guided by Voices with Excited Ones, and then Ben Harper as well. And if you stick around for the next hour, some Big Orange, AC/DC, and Grateful Dead all coming up on Volunteer Radio 90.3 to Rock Knoxville's musical tastemakers.
So the name is Benny Smith, Benny, and I am the General Manager and Program Director at WUTK, and I've been here for about 17 and a half years in that role. But I was also here from 85 until 91 as an undergrad and grad student, and then for a couple years after that as a non-student volunteer as well. So been here many years one way or another. So I started when I was 16 in Greenville, and I started for the music aspect, but when I got there, I started learning the amazing positive impact that that little station had on our community with local news, like I said, Greenville High School sports. We had a local newscast at 12:30 every day where the town would literally almost shut down just to listen to who was in the funeral parlor that night and whose baby was born that day, and just, local news. And I just started seeing, again, the incredible positive impact that that station had from a non-musical angle on our community and our town where I grew up. And so radio really, it lit a fire in me. I'm like, okay, this is a lot bigger than I thought. This is more than just music. And I started really appreciating, again, the positive influence that a station can have. When it started snowing, oh my gosh, my phone would ring off the wall because all those parents, the kids want to know if their kids are going to school tomorrow. And just things like that make you go, whoa, people need to hear from what I have to say here with this information. And, at 16, I was a lot more important, I think, than I even knew I was at that point because of working at the station. So that's where it all started, and I kept working there part-time, and I started here winter quarter my sophomore year in 1985 at WUTK as a volunteer DJ and worked my way up. Yeah, I started as a DJ, but because I'd arrived with experience, they moved me up really quickly, and so I started hosting specialty shows because I knew reggae music and I knew blues music and I knew a little bit more of the music in depth than some of the other students, and then elevated pretty quickly to music director. And then when I graduated, got my undergrad degree, I came back into grad school and was the program director here and as a grad teaching assistant, and operated it and that was the heyday for college radio. That was the late 80s and early 90s. So you're talking about grunge, you're talking about jam bands that started getting radio airplay like Blues Traveler and Widespread Panic, and Fish, and you're talking about rap becoming hip hop, with Public Enemy and Tribe Called Quest and bands like that. And college radio was the one playing them all, and that was us back then. New Rock 90 is what we called it, and was extremely popular even with a really small signal. We barely could reach West Town Mall, obviously, with our signal. Obviously, we didn't have streaming back then. We didn't have computers, so yeah, this little station that could has been really influential in this market for many, many years. And we've helped launch the careers of some bands that have signed major label contracts as well. And so yeah, I've been a part of this place for a long time, and hopefully it's been a positive impact on our community. And with the awards we've won both national and locally, I feel that way, but especially because of how it allows students to figure out this is what they want to do the rest of their life, and they're passionate about it. That's what this place is for. That's why it was put here by people much smarter than me 40 years ago, was so that you guys as students, what we tell them is you read about it upstairs, you come down here and you do it. Same with the Beacon, same with VFL Films and all. You've got to have that practical experience to go along with what you learn from our amazing professors and teachers and lecturers in the classroom. And that makes you that complete student, that complete graduate when you're ready. People are going to be more willing to hire you when they know you've got that practical experience to go along with the book smarts. So that's why we're here, and that's our number one goal. And so to see through these 40 years, all the alumni we have who are doing amazing, successful things out there, and they all attribute a lot of it to jumping off from this little station right here, that's definitely the success we're shooting for.
If a good song comes out, we'll just play it immediately. Like, if you heard this one, is incredible. It doesn't matter if it's modern rock or hip hop or bluegrass or electronic. We'll play anything and everything on this station, and we have different specific specialty shows that delve into, that hone into a specific genre for a couple hours, different nights. So you can check our WTKradio.com for our show schedule, but we'll play everything. but we won't play a lot of commercial hits. We don't play that stuff. You can get that everywhere else. You can get the same 15 songs on a different radio station. It's like, that's why people like us, because we'll play the music that's you can't find anywhere else. But part of that are local bands, and local bands have gotten their start on WTK, and with our 40th anniversary, we're going back to them and say, you guys maybe want to reunite and do a little reunion fundraiser for us. So those kind of things are in the works for this year. So we're very excited about doing that, because if you're a local band and you want to get exposure, a great place is to get on the radio. And where can you do that these days? Well, you can here.
40 for 40 campaign, we want to take this opportunity. We've raised a lot of money in the past, asking our listeners to donate a little extra to help us with the new antenna here on Andy Holt Tower. We've got that coming now. We've applied to the FCC. They've granted us permission. So that's going to help our signal a little bit as well. Obviously, we've got a podcast studio in there now. We're very proud of it. So we want to make sure that when we go and we beg for this money, if you will, and ask for donors, that they know we're putting it to use like we say. So with this campaign, we wanted to capitalize on our birthday and on 40 years of making a difference, 40 years of rocking ears, like we say, and 40 years of placing students into jobs and careers. Mike Keith, the voice of the Tennessee Titans, will tell you he wouldn't be doing what he's doing now if he didn't start down here and find his way down here. Ryan McGee with ESPN and SEC Network, same. There's so many. Melanie Hutzel, who was a member of Saturday Night Live cast when they had Chris Rock and Joe Piscopo, some amazing people as well. So, we've got an amazing list of alumni that we want to make sure to keep that going. We want more alumni for the next 40 years. And to do that, we want to ensure that our signal reaches more places than it's ever reached before, that our students' voices are heard in places that have never been heard before. Now, obviously, through streaming, they can do that. But we want to increase and improve our terrestrial signal. So, which is our signal that you turn the radio on in your car, in your stereo, or whatever there it is. And so because of that, we're taking advantage of this 40 years, and we want to try to raise another $40,000 on top of the $175,000 a year or so that it takes for us to exist. We want to raise an extra $40,000 to put a new off-campus transmitter and tower site that will help us increase our signal, strengthen our signal, and again allow students' voices to go where they've never been heard before, allow us to work with new underwriter businesses and sponsor businesses that have been wanting to work with us, but like, I can barely pick you up, but if I could really pick you up, we're going to spend money with you and we want to work with you. And so it's time to do that. It's time to grow a little bit, and can't think of a better time than a 40th birthday or 40th anniversary to say, we've done all this, now we're ready to go to that next stage. And that's what we're doing. And if you know anything about us, we like to have fun down here. And so we're doing it with events every month where we're going to have a lot of fun that involve donations and fundraisers for the station every single month. The next one will be February 22nd at Merchants of Beer, where we do a relaunch for our craft beer show, which is called Knox on Tap. So we'll be doing it live for Merchants of Beer in the Old City every Tuesday night, 6 to 7. We'll be getting some live music elements built into that and some other things too. And again, involving students the whole time too, getting them that experience too. And so we're going to be doing events at least once a month where we're going to try to raise that 40 grand. We're already off to close to a $10,000 start, and we're only 1 month into it because of a couple of generous donations and an event that we did at Alliance Brewing as our birthday blast off earlier this month, or in January, actually January 12th. So it's going to be, we're going to combine having a lot of fun. We're going to combine getting out and mingling and partying and celebrating with our listeners, because we love our listeners and they love us. And many of them have been listening for a long, long time. And with COVID, we haven't been able to do that. For almost 2 years, nobody's been able to get out and do these things. We're ready to do it, beat our chest a little bit about 40 years that we've been here, and then look into the future and invest in that future for the station, for our listeners, and for the students. So that's what we're going to do, rocking ears for 40 years and making sure that 40 for 40 campaign gets met by the end of December.
Mm. Well, our listeners can donate online. We have an online portal. They can do that, and it's a tax-deductible donation, so that's part of the appeal, and you're also helping out students, keeping this lab open and giving them experience, hands-on, that you can't get in a classroom. So that's one way. Another way are local businesses, giving them underwriting spots and different value so they can get their name out and let people know about their business. So they give us donations. A lot of them are monthly donations, so that's, it just all those compile together into one big chunk in the gift fund. So, and that helps to pay our full-time staff and keep the lights on and pay other, like I said, you pay the for music rights, so you can play anything you want to, even on streaming too. So there are a lot of those little things we have to pay for, and an engineer to help keep us on the air, and little things like that all pile up. So we need money to keep that going. If you're interested in not only being on the air, that's just one element. There's, well, you can get involved with sales if you're interested in getting in that career. We have social media, we have a sports department, we have a news department, we have the music department, which decides what songs we play on the air. I mean, we get so many, we can't play everything, but you know, oh, this one's really good, we got to get this one on the air. And we cover music festivals, so if you're interested in promotion of music festivals and things like that, or covering them for blogs, or doing artist interviews, and we have so many opportunities for students down here, no matter what you want to do.